I should open up this bag of chips.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the
We're
Zoo.
live.
Yes, we are
Sorry.
live, Donkey, as I said that we were going to be.
Sorry.
But despite me telling Donkey this, he decided that he would talk about his bag of chips.
That's perfect. Chill stream
So-
Friday chips for all.
Yes, did you bring enough for the rest of class, Donkey?
No, that's communist thought.
No, it's not.
I have my
It's a
own.
fact.
I'm an independent woman. I don't need his chips. I have my own.
It's a stream tax.
Well, screw you. I ain't got no representation. I ain't going to pay no freaking taxation.
Well, you can give it a go, but given the fact that Canada never rebelled, I don't think it's going to fare very well for you.
I'm rebelling now.
Bit late. So, the minions with me this evening are the donkey,
Evening, everyone. Seriously, the donkey?
Sora Luna,
Hello.
and Cryptic.
Eat all cats.
And then, of course, as it is a Friday, I'm the keeper for this evening, Sanguine. How are all of you doing tonight?
Much giddier than when we started.
That's good to hear.
Yes. We were also enjoying talking about the levels of cringe of the Democratic shortlist for 2024.
Yes.
And the
That's-
poop maps.
Yeah, the poop maps.
In
Look.
relation to
We're
one
gonna
member
need
of
that
the
here
shortlist,
soon.
Newsom.
It's a new definition to brown bagging, okay?
But how are you doing, Cryptic? You haven't answered the general opening question.
Oh, it's another day in paradise. I wish the world, an asteroid would destroy planet Earth, but yeah, we're good.
Mm.
Ian tried its hardest to destroy the Earth.
Mm.
And I'm doing fairly well as well. So, now that we've gone through that, now we can get into topic and conversation. Do you guys want to continue our talk of the short list?
Oh yeah, yeah. Eeyore, I'm a donkey. Shit. You have you probably have a good list of people you want to see run, right? Who do you think is gonna run actually in 2024?
In terms of both major parties,
Yeah, sure, yeah, both.
the Democrats are a little harder to pin down, largely due to the ambiguity on.
No, they
But-
aren't.
but-
They have no upper
Lo-
body strength.
you-
They're equally pinned.
You shush, shush, due to the ambiguity of Biden's incumbency. And the
Plus,
fact
they're
that,
extremely receptive of being pinned down.
You talking about the dementia patient, right?
yes,
He's not gonna last. So
I do believe that regardless of what the party wants, he's running. If he's got a heartbeat, he'll be running.
When they are pinned down, they push back.
As for other Democrats that I expect to throw their hat in, Harris, maybe, Abrams, Warren, and Newsom are the ones I expect to throw their hat in.
you forget one Democrat though.
Oh, who?
Beta.
Oh,
You know-
God. Oh,
you know-
God.
You know why he's gonna run? So he can fail for the 5th time, running for the 5th fucking office he ran. Because it's Beta. Beta does that shit, and he's gonna eat his magical fucking dirt, and then he'll be happy.
That would just be.
Wait, are you positing that the reason why he keeps running is so that he has a reason to eat the magic dirt?
Yes, to it's like a comfort food for him, you know.
He can't just eat the magic dirt whenever. People will think that he's fucking weird. No, he has
I mean,
to wait until he loses a run. And joining us is our final minion of the evening, Adam. How are you doing, Adam?
Hey, how's it going?
Yay!
Doing grand. We're currently talking about the potential Democrat shortlist for 2024
Well,
and laughing at it.
Cryptic asked for both parties, and I was about to give who I would think would throw their hat in on the GOP side. Right now, Trump and Pence are the ones I know are going to throw their hat in. We might get some others also rans. DeSantis is the biggest question mark, though.
I think Kristi Noem from South Dakota, or
Something like that.
she in South Dakota or North Dakota, but she's the governor over there. I think she'll throw her hat in there. She's very personable, and she's pretty. You know, I think she'll do well.
Are we talking presidential pretty, or are we talking actual pretty?
No, actually pretty.
Okay.
And I think
There's a curve that you have to judge them on.
Yes, pretty.
I think she would probably try to run, and then dipshit fucking. I guarantee he'll give another try. I fucking hate his guts. Which
one, Jeb or
no Mitt Romney? I think he'll try.
Romney, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Because
Romney will run on the same ship Pence would run on. We got to stop the evil orange man and his Florida lackey.
Yeah, but he's so liberal. Romney is so liberal. He might actually pull off some, primaries for side of the Democrat side. You know, I fucking hate Romney, but
I'll put it this way: Trump runs and DeSantis doesn't. Trump has a third of the primary votes day one, because a third to a half of the states will just say no, Trump, no primary, Trump gets them.
That is true.
I don't think that they would quite declare that way. I think that there would still be a primary, but it would be a formality. Because
like 60% of the states suspended their primaries in 2020. I'm saying a third to a half.
Would agree when it comes to a president. When you have an incumbent president, they will do that. When you don't have an incumbent president, it tends to go very by the book, which is one of the really good things about the Republican Party, and also one of the slightly annoying things about the Republican Party, because even when it's crystal clear that this person is going to ultimately be the person that comes out on top, they will still go through everything. But it also means that, unlike with the Democrats, where they will put their thumb on the scale when it comes to who they want to have win, the Republicans are very much, no, the vote is the vote. Fuck it. We don't like them. So sad, too bad. That was who they voted for. We like them. Fantastic. It was who we wanted, and it was who was voted for. Because look at the 2016 primaries. The people that were the heart of the Republican Party when it came to the actual elected officials, what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's on the tip of my
thing
tongue.
with 2016 is they did not have anyone at all with incumbency. The closest thing they had available was Dick Cheney, who didn't run.
Yep.
Another thing is polling and even the early primaries, up until and even past Super Tuesday, it was still a two-horse race. We're talking about a situation where the only other person in the Republican polling that has broken double digits other than Trump is DeSantis. Therefore, a third of the states will just say, no, he is an incumbent technically. Suspend, there you go.
See, I'm not sure that they'll go, he is an incumbent technically. like I'm saying, I think that it's going to be very much by the book, but it will be something that can damn near be hand waved. I don't think that they'll do a really long run up. It'll be okay. Put in your fucking votes. Oh, look, it's Trump. Moving on.
No, there's already been hints by the census that he's like, if Trump runs, he's not going to run. So
Yep.
He's outright stated that.
yeah, so
Though the fact that there's been so much push for him makes me think that he might be ambitious enough to renege on that, and we would have a Trump DeSantis primary.
and I think that's going to be a bad thing. I think one or the other should run. I don't think both of them should run.
I don't think that he should go for it. I think that he's doing really damn good work in Florida, and he should continue doing the work that he's doing because that's fucking important. And then progress once he's at a point where it's either he can't run again or he's done everything that he needed to do.
I think right now what DeSantis should do is run again. Okay, and if Trump wants to run for president, let him do it. But in 2026, he should run for like a Senate seat, and then 2020, 8, he can run as for president. But
the issue is that when his next term as governor is up, there isn't a Florida Senate election, and a House seat would seem like a downgrade from a governorship.
That's the other problem. Donkey's right. That's the biggest problem he has for now is that it doesn't line up properly. What he can do if things go well, or goes well, like let's say Trump gets elected in 2024, right? The best high-profile job that he can get is like a secretary of state, or
run out his full term as governor of Florida, get the last 2 years of the 2024 run in one of those big positions,
right?
At the federal level.
Oh, one of the options that could happen is it could be that he gets his governorship, finishes it out, and then whoever was named as VP could be muscled out and him named as VP for the end of the term, allowing him a more prestigious title and also putting him in a better place for a presidential bid.
My personal opinion is like the VP, like let's say DeSantis decided to be VP for Trump, right? I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea at all. I think he'd probably be better off as, let's say, Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, or Secretary, or like shit. What's the other one?
Are you talking about the big three of the cabinet?
Yeah, the big three in the cabinet. Yeah,
Sec of State, Secretary of the Treasury, and Sec of Defense.
Yeah, he can be either three of them. That will keep them in that will keep him in the public eye, so that he can run in 2028, right?
That would be ideal.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like he would probably be appointed for one of those so he can take over, but that is all basically just on like Trump winning,
Now, call me a bit of a goof for saying this, but I would actually put DeSantis as Secretary of Commerce.
Yeah,
it's not as prestigious as the big three, but it's his best spot.
And I agree with that. Yeah, he would be good at commerce, stuff. Yes, I understand it, but he like, I think Secretary of State probably fit him very well too. He's
The-
very statesman-like, and he can.
The best advantage of Secretary of State for DeSantis 2026 to 2028 would be he could cut his teeth into foreign affairs.
Exactly, and we need that very much at the moment. So, yeah, I would think if he were not to run for president in 2024, one of those three profile positions after he leaves the governorship would probably help him run as president in 2028. So, but we're all guessing, we're all speculating, basically. So, if it happens, it happens. It doesn't. It's just one of those things where we.
I actually bounce back and forth between one or the other has to run and have a let them fight primary. On one hand, I do agree it would be easier and simpler for the GOP to have from the get-go, we know this is our guy, let's just get down to it. But on the other hand, a let them fight style primary would truly decide which one has the better support of the Republican base.
But at the same time, it would end up mauling both of them.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
It would be a dirty, long fight.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't want from that, is because if you do that, somebody's going to get fucked over. Somebody's going to get basically smeared so bad that they can't win against a shitty Biden, or a shitty Harris,
Oh, I believe that regardless of the shape of the GOP primary, either will beat Biden, Harris, Warren, Abrams, or Newsom.
Yeah. You have more faith than I do than you are. So
I actually think DeSantis, pragmatically speaking, would have a better shot than Trump.
I agree with that one. But I think he's not at the point in his life where he wants to fight that fight. You know what I mean?
And I'd say yes and no, because he's cleaner than Trump, but he's been just as smeared.
Oh,
yes. Yes.
And that's the thing that makes the election difficult. And what Trump has in his pocket that he doesn't is, when I was president, the economy was good. There weren't any new wars. There were wars that were being ended. I prevented other wars. I had historic peace deals. And then you ousted me, and the next guy
got a war in Ukraine, bullshit flaring up in Kosovo, the Armenians and Azerbaijanis going at it, some sort of coup in Iran, Afghanistan, Chinese aggression.
So,
but I will directly counter. How quickly after the pandemic did Florida get back to normal as compared to the rest of the country?
Oh, yeah. It is something that he could definitely point to Florida, but what is a clearer display? Him pointing to Florida or Trump pointing to the entire fucking country?
Yeah, because the states that follow like Trump's ideals, like North Dakota, South Dakota, Idaho, Florida, Texas, basically the red state, right? They was like, we're not shutting down. We'll put in precautions, but we're not shutting down. They are the economic engine right now on the recovery, and all the states that have fucking shut down, like California, Illinois, New York,
all the blues, yeah,
they're fucking suffering from massive economic fucking issues right now.
And also, one of the other things that Trump has is he predicted what would happen.
Yep.
He said when he was running that if Biden was elected, gas prices would skyrocket, and you'd see some parts of the country that it would be $7 a gallon.
And it happened.
What did we see?
Yes.
We saw $7 a gallon in certain parts of the country. He said that the economy would tank. what have we seen? The economy tanked. He said that you would have war in Europe and war in a bunch of other areas, the Middle East, and that China would start bullshitting and blustering again. And what did we see? We saw war in Europe, or the Middle East become destabilized, or more destabilized, because it's always been fucking destabilized. That's kind of the constant state of the Middle East, is destabilized. But it's become rockier in the Middle East. You have China blustering and bullshitting again.
North Korea being belligerent again.
Yep, you have Iran again trying to cycle up its nuclear. So you have all of these things that he said this was going to happen, and 100% of it happened. This is the thing that always drives me crazy, because that should be something that speaks ridiculously highly of someone. If they're able to actually predict the future, you should then start listening to them more. If they are wrong about fucking everything that they say, Janet Yellen, printing more money will not cause inflation. Bitch, that's the definition of inflation.
Yep. And
you have... Oh, God.
You know what's funny? There's rumors right now that once the midterm is over, guess who's getting the axe first?
Yellen?
Secretary of the Treasury.
She's getting her axe. Yeah, there's a lot of like rumbling right now that she's gonna get her ass fucking fired because everything she said has been wrong.
Considering the raffle stopping the House Democrats are about to receive, I wouldn't be surprised if a few heads roll when this is all over.
The thing is that it should be something that is just an automatic factor of when someone says that this will happen if we do X, and they are wrong. That should immediately put their head upon the block, but not quite drop the axe. The next thing that they say, this is going to happen if we do X, and they are wrong on, should drop the blade. And that is something that is constantly not the case, and it infuriates me, because we'll have Fauci should have been axed during the AIDS pandemic.
Yes, a long time it's not in the 1990s and 1980s. Yeah, he should have been fucking killed.
Because Fauci, long after the rest of the medical community came to the realization that HIV was transmitted by blood and bodily fluid, he was still saying, no, I think that you can get AIDS if you're a child in a household and one of your parents is eating out of a cereal box and you eat out of the same cereal box. I think that's how you get AIDS. No, that isn't how you get AIDS, Fauci. No one else thought that was how you could get fucking AIDS at the point where you said that was how you could get AIDS.
Fauci's a fucking hack. We all know that.
Yeah, and he did that with countless things during that epidemic, and he was proven wrong time and time again. And like I said, the first time that you get something that glaringly wrong, your head should be upon the block. The second time that you get something that glaringly wrong, the blade drops, you're out.
Do you guys want to hear something disgusting about what the last 2 years? Well, Fauci.
Go ahead.
His family earned $5 million.
Yep.
They earned $5 million in the last fucking 2 years when they're spouting fucking lockdownism shit. Right?
He's the highest paid bureaucrat in the government.
No.
And then he also has investments.
Sanguine. It's $5 million plus his pay.
Yep. Because he has his investments.
Yep. And yeah.
And it's really easy to win in the market when you're given the power to pick and choose winners.
Yeah. Yeah, all medical and all fucking federal system is fucking corrupt as shit. I'll admit to that. At least we're not Justin Trudeau though.
Fuck
Sorry,
Hey.
Sora.
Small
Hey,
small
I-
miracles.
Hey,
you
you
want
know
to
what?
talk about corruption? We don't got shit on Canada.
No, only because of Justin Trudeau. That dude is okay. Let's shift. I love politics and all, but let's shift to Canadian politics, right?
Oh,
Oh, that's not. But okay.
please.
So now we need to go from abouts to boots, and we need to go from sorries to sorries.
Sorry,
Oh,
I don't understand. Okay, Sora and ER. How the fuck is that guy still in office?
Toronto.
Yeah.
Because
And
the
because
shit
Canada outside of Ontario doesn't remember that we exist, so we get no votes, and
Yeah, 'cause-
we're dealing with pretty shitty government in every province to begin with. So
I would also say there's another big factor, at least from the outside looking in. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that a chunk of it is the nature of Canadian nationalism.
The fact that it is actually the most fascistic form of nationalism in the current world by virtue of originating in the left rather than the right.
Well, the thing that I was going to bring up with Canadian nationalism is Canadian nationalism. A large chunk of it is that they aren't America.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you see with a weaker power next to a stronger power that isn't actively being invaded by the stronger power. They end up developing this myth of superior morality
mhm.
where it's, yeah, we aren't as big and strong as our neighbor, but we're superior to our neighbor in a bunch of other ways. We have better morality. So they end up having this knee-jerk reaction of if the superior power says one thing, they go, no, no. And I think that was a good chunk of how Trudeau ended up maintaining power.
So you just describe the little
Yeah.
brother syndrome.
Kind of. It's the weaker brother syndrome, I would phrase it as, because it is not always the little brother, as I'm evidence of, considering I am much larger than my brother.
Now, I will point out, and this isn't a case of weaker brother syndrome. I know you might call it that, but the United States is superior in terms of hard power, military assets, economic might, etc.
Eeyore, when's the last time an American has watched a Canadian television series other than Kids in the Hall?
When have you last watched SNL?
Not in decades.
Fair enough. What I am referring to, however, is Canada's diplomatic abilities.
Okay, so not
soft expressions of power.
the soft power that is the official soft power, not the normal meaning of soft power. Because normal meaning of soft power is the cultural spread.
Well, we're beside the greatest cultural generator on the world.
Yeah, I'd say that the three greatest soft power generators currently are the US still. We're kind of falling as we go, but we're still up there. And we're kind of coasting on our history of creating fantastic media. Japan and Korea. And by Korea, I mean the only Korea that should exist, South Korea.
I would disagree on the. I would add a fourth is China. Much as I don't like it, they actually culturally they've been pushing their shit out
Oh, they are
quite well.
massively trying to push their shit out. But the thing that I would point out is how many Chinese shows do you watch? There's Chinese action movies, and yes, we do watch Chinese action movies. How many Chinese shows and how many movies from China other than Chinese action movies, the kung fu movies, are watched outside of China?
I used to
I
watch
will
it.
counter
growing up.
simply with name a major studio that is not forced to edit or entirely redact parts or in its entirety media for the Chinese audience.
I would say that's more an expression of a hard power on soft power rather than soft power in and of itself. Because that is media being generated elsewhere and China putting its thumb down on them going, we won't fucking let this in our country unless you kowtow. Which is different than with Korea, for instance. You have Squid Game. You have, was it Train to Busan?
Busan.
Right?
Yeah.
The
You have
entire
Old Boy.
K-pop industry.
You have K-pop. You have media hit after media hit after media hit coming out of Korea.
Mm-hmm.
With Japan, you have
Anime and manga alone.
yeah,
Is
anime,
enough.
manga.
Mm.
You have both of those. But then not only do you have that, you have VTubing. VTubing has become a massive thing culturally. You have a bunch of different Japanese shows and movies that come out as well. And people are excited about them. So
Mm-hmm.
Japan is definitely up there in soft power
Cultural power is
outputs.
what I'd call it.
Well, that's what soft power typically is. Soft power, in the normal meaning of soft power, is talking about the cultural sway of a civilization. Yeah, Japanese music. You have J-pop. J-pop is almost as big as K-pop. K-pop took over a little bit ago, but you still have a massive amount of J-pop hitting the US and being extremely popular. And then when you look at the US, despite the quality dip that we've done recently, you still have US shows being ranted and raved about around the world. You still have United States movies being ranted and raved about around the world. We all realize that they've decreased in quality, but it has not been long enough, and it's still not quite severe enough that it has completely undone the cultural heritage, let's phrase it that way. Because our culture was so fucking dominant, other countries were trying to simulate it. There's a reason why spaghetti westerns became a thing.
Mm.
That was Italy going, American cowboy movies are fucking popular. We can make an American cowboy movie. We can make ridiculous American cowboy movies. So they're Italian-made American byproducts.
And eventually, America started producing its own spaghetti westerns.
Yep. Because we realized, holy shit, this thing that we inspired is actually really fucking cool. Which, there's a lot of things like that where a culture will originally produce something and then some other culture will go, this is fucking awesome, and they'll start producing it, and then the progenitor culture will go, no, that's fucking awesome, and they'll start producing it. A good example of this is, you guys all know what croquettes are, right?
Croquette. Like
Yes.
the game? Like
The
croquet?
food.
I mean that stuff that they crochet together?
Yeah,
No, I
Like-
mean the food. The French croquette.
I have
yeah,
to see what it looks
the
like.
deep fried dumpling with a nice filling inside.
So the French croquette is effectively potato dough.
Oh, yes,
almost.
yes.
Yep. So it's filled with all kinds of different things in France. They're normally very spherical. Normally it's cheese in French
Yeah.
croquettes.
Or
And then they
they're
fry
like
those.
like in Italy, they're with rice.
Yep, you have the arancini, which is a
Yeah.
very similar thing. But you have this thing that is filled with something, then deep fried. Normally it's potato, or in the arancini example, it's rice that is then filled with cheese and deep fried. And they're
The
amazing little
Japanese make
flavor
them very
bombs.
good.
Oh yeah.
And exactly where I was going to go, Sora. You knew exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
The Japanese croquette.
Yes.
Those are fucking crack.
If you
And-
ever have a chance to have like for anyone here who hasn't had it, if you find a restaurant or like an izakaya place that does with corn,
Yep, you can do corn.
oh my god, it is so good. It's stupidly delicious.
The basic croquette that you get in Japan is the meat croquette, and what they do is it's a mashed potato effectively, but it's a really dry mashed potato that then you fry up some mince and you fry up onions
Mm.
and you mix those together. Then you work that into the potato, then you form that into little patty. You freeze it, then you pull it out of the freezer, you bread that shit, and then deep fry it. And it's this deep fried potato and meat and onion fucking masterpiece.
hmm
And you had that come out of Japan. Japan took the French croquette, went, this is fucking amazing. We want to make it ourselves as well, but we want it with our flavors. They made it with their flavors. And then the rest of the world went, that's fucking amazing. We're doing it too.
You know what? You have not lived until you ate fresh takoyaki. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Takoyaki balls.
oh yeah. I so every
He
time I
already
go,
sold the moment he heard balls.
Shut.
yeah. fuck.
Hey,
Uh,
I am just a fine peruser of Japanese cuisine.
Especially the spherical sort, yes.
Shut.
Am I fucking wrong, motherfucker?
Oh,
Sorry, let me correct that. Am I fucking wrong, fatherfucker?
It's important to be accurate.
Sorta.
when I was living in Japan and fucking, I used to walk down like at nighttime. I used to go to the street food stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
I always stop by a takoyaki stand. I mean, all they do is fucking. They would have like a muffin plate, right? They would have a couple of muffin plate, right? They put the egg batter in. They put the squid in, cooked squid in, and they fucking. They would roll it. They would roll. They were fucking awesome. They would roll it with like spoon, right?
It's
And-
with this, they have a stick and then like a set of chopsticks. So they have a pointed end stick and then a set of chopsticks, and then they have
Like
another
skewers.
utensil that is somewhat spoon-like. And
Yeah,
they use those three to get it to roll perfectly every fucking time. And it's
Yeah, I would
fucking
get.
witchcraft.
Well, I would get like a cup, right? A small cup
Yep.
of takoyaki. I'm like, delicious. Put the sauce on it. I would get a toothpick, dip it, in there, and just. I'd be walking around fucking pissed drunk, going num 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 num.
And that's another expression of soft power. And that is another one where you can see a bunch of the old school soft power powerhouses really shine because you have France. France after fucking Napoleon, was not a hard power exporter. It was...
They had a little bit until after World War One.
Functionally, after Napoleon, they weren't a hard power exporter. They were holding on a little bit, but they were not the hard power house of the world. What they were was a soft power, absolute son of a bitch. And you can tell that by how many fucking areas French food was a major cultural impact.
I mean, most Cajun foods have French influence.
Yep. You have Canadian foods have French influence. You have the actual military powerhouse after Napoleon. The English have French influence to pub food. Pub food quality increased drastically at a certain point because a lot of them started to take French influence. Then you have French influence in Japan with their food because you have croquettes. We just talked about croquettes. You have tonkatsu. Tonkatsu is not French. It's actually German inspired because it was inspired by schnitzel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
And
can see that.
katsu is fucking amazing. Schnitzel's amazing. Katsu's amazing. And again, it was one of those things that katsu popped up, and now you have places in Germany going, this katsu shit is fucking amazing. We're going to start making katsu here. And you're going, so you're making the Japanese dish based off of a German dish in Germany. Fucking amazing. Let's fucking do it. Hell yeah.
Oh,
I mean, look at one of the cornerstones of modern cooking, the 5 mother sauces. They originate in French cuisine.
Yep. And then you have the Italian cuisine as well. Italy was a massive cultural powerhouse that was just cranking out culture for the longest
It was a cultural powerhouse before Italy was Italy.
Yep. Exactly. And Italian food. It is hard to go anywhere in the world other than fucking North Korea where they don't have Italian restaurants fucking everywhere. That is another aspect of soft power. Your cuisine taking over is a big one. And that's one of the ones where China has actually done a really good job of soft power. Their movies, other than the... And really, the movies that we think of as Chinese movies aren't Chinese movies.
More
Cryptic,
often
do
than
you
not
know why?
Korean.
Or Adam, do you know why?
Are they done in Hong Kong?
Exactly. They're Hong Kong action movies.
Careful not calling those Chinese. Don't know who's listening.
I don't care what part of Western Taiwan or what part of that stupid rebel government is listening. I don't care.
It was Hong Kong action movies. That's what they were originally. And that is not really Chinese culture being exported. That was Hong Kong's culture being exported.
I think we both just destroyed our social credit.
I have no social credit.
I spent time in the refugee camp in Hong Kong.
Yep.
And trust me, it's different. The culture is very different. The food is very much more like flavorful in fucking Hong Kong than it is mainland China.
Well, I do have to defend Chinese food because it depends on what part of China you're talking about.
The Canton areas.
Yes, Cantonese food is rather flavorful. If you're talking about Shanghai has very flavorful food as well. If you're talking about Szechuan, oh good God, Szechuan damn near defines fucking flavor. with their food. Szechuan food is one of my favorites.
I need
But
that Szechuan sauce, Marty.
There are certain areas of China that, yeah, their food goes a bit more bland. But there are certain areas of China where their food is flavor. And like I said, that's one thing that I do have to say, absolutely, China did a good job exporting soft power when it comes to their cuisine. They did actually pump that out. They did get that famous around the world. They did get it so that people will go, what do you want to eat tonight? I want fucking Chinese.
You know what? It's all about flavor, right? You know, it's just like Flavor Flav said. Flavor Flav. I'm sorry, that's horrible.
God damn it.
No, I think like
Go ahead.
I think a lot of culture, right? The food is what is
Food is a cornerstone of culture.
exactly,
Yep, it
and
is
that's
vehicle.
and that's what makes a lot of people like know who you are, what you know your culture is, right? You know? Like
Mhm.
Chinese with their sort of assortments of food. Vietnamese, you know, we have more like the pho, the bun xào, the spring rolls, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
The French and the shitty food that is still from the Greek and Italian. But I'm sorry, I did not say that. But yeah, you know,
No other reason why the French are shitty, right? No
yeah,
other historical reason.
I'm just saying, you know, they did steal all that stuff from there. But sorry, Sora. You know, like what you call that? The the Brits, they you know, people give them shit about their food, but you know,
But pub grub is amazing.
yeah, the pub foods are great, and then like
That's the thing that they always get shit for. For some fucking reason, people get the idea that other cultures have this really high cuisine all the time. A good chunk of what you think of as Italian food, that isn't high culture cuisine. It was what just people ate. Spaghetti, that isn't some fancy hotty-toddy meal. That was something that every Tom, Dick, and Harry in Italy, which it would be kind of strange having a lot of Tom, Dicks, and Harrys in Italy, but there were at least a few. I'm willing
Marios,
to bet.
Alfonso's, and Aldo's.
Ezio's. Yeah.
Well, then, couldn't you say that the ultimate boomerang effect would be from Chef Boyardee, who went from running a high-end, fancy Italian restaurant to
Making the worst goddamn canned Italian?
well, no, essentially establishing American cuisine, and its means, uh, manufactured and prepackaged. I hate to say it, but at the same end, that is, Americana.
I disagree that that's American cuisine. I think the problem when we talk about American cuisine is we're overly familiar with food that we've eaten. And we think of the regional cuisines, just like if you're in Italy and you say that spaghetti all'assassina is a Italian cuisine. They'll go, no, that's fucking Sicilian. That isn't a Italian cuisine. That's from Sicily. It's Sicilian cuisine that you're talking about. We have this idea that American cuisine, it doesn't really exist. Bitch, barbecue.
Well,
Ranch
okay.
sauce.
Well, no. I'm not saying that American cuisine can be bottled down to canned food. I'm saying the manufactured process of American food
Of a certain
is
aspect of American food, yes.
yeah, and going back to the Italian aspect, the whole point, especially with Chef Boyardee, was he started out just giving out, bundles of spaghetti and the ingredients to make the food.
Yep.
And then eventually it progressed into canned goods. And that's what I would say is the American aspect of it, is that it would go from a fancy Italian restaurant to a ready to eat meal at home, hopefully tasting as good as the restaurant.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do want to, even though that wasn't what you were saying, I do want to cover it because it's something that annoys the shit out of me every time I hear America doesn't have cuisine.
Yeah. Well,
America
yeah.
has a fuck ton of cuisines. The thing is that people don't realize that they're American cuisines. They think of them as regional cuisines. And guess what?
Yep.
Guess what country those regions are a part of? America, motherfucker.
Well, and not only that, but it goes back to the America used to be a state centric country. That was the whole beauty of it. You'd go to a different state to experience its culture,
and it would be almost like going to a different fucking country.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
Now,
Look, you've never lived your life until you had fucking collard
Nothing
greens.
like a province, though. I'm sorry, dude.
Oh, you're good. Collard, you never in your life collard greens, right?
Mm-hmm.
With fucking bacon, just.
Oh, ham hock and collard greens. Ooh.
Oh yeah, or fucking chitlins and fucking
Salt pork.
salted pork. You never had like a what's called an elk burger with fucking with the pork
If
fat. Oh,
You haven't had Creole fucking cooking. This is the thing, that when you look at American cuisine, there's a fuck ton of American cuisines that people don't think of as American cuisine. They think of as the region. You think of barbecue and you're thinking, well, it's Texas barbecue, it's Carolina, it's Memphis, it's this, it's that, it's Kansas. And you have a whole bunch
Which is all part of the
types.
whole.
Yeah, you think of them as individual regional cuisines or city or state or specific cuisines when, yeah, those are all accurate, but that makes it American because last I fucking checked, Carolina, North and South are both America.
Yep.
So any food developed in those areas is American cuisine.
So I consider my recipe an American recipe. So I have a smoker, Sanguine. You'll like this, right? So I did an experiment, right? I had a pork, right? St. Louis pork ribs. So what I did was I made a sugar fish sauce, ginger and lime marinade. So I basically wet brine it in the refrigerator for about a day, right? So I took it out and I fucking smoked it. I consider that an American recipe because I did it in America.
Yep.
And I took the bits of where I came from and the bits of where I understand American, like how we do barbecue in America. So it's a fucking American dish. And I did an experiment, but I fucking did it in America. I use American spices and stuff like that also, and Vietnamese spice because I'm where I'm from.
Yep.
But that's exactly how America works. Is we take shit from all over the world and we make it our own.
Yeah, we have a shit ton of fusion things that are American in origin. They're distinctly American because they would have only ever been made at the time because of America. And because of people experiencing those different cultures and going, fuck it, let me try this and that.
Well, most people don't realize like a lot of Chinese restaurants in America, right?
Are Americanized Chinese, not proper Chinese.
Right, and most of the dishes were invented in America, like like sesame chicken. It's an American dish. General Tso's chicken. It's an American dish. We tried it.
Sweet and sour. The sweet and sour sauce that
Hold
you
on,
have
hold
in
on.
the U.S. is an American sweet and sour.
But the name implies it's General Tso's chicken is not.
Caesar salad is American, Adam.
Yeah.
Come on.
You mean it
Caesar salad-
wasn't invented in the Roman Forum?
Nope.
Well,
Caesar
not at
salad
the-
is American.
Not
I
at the
think
forum,
the modern
silly.
interpretation of Caesar salad is American. I will openly believe that Rome used romaine lettuce in a salad.
Right.
But the salad is not just being romaine. It is the sum of the components. It is
Indeed.
the way that you make that dressing. And I'd say the dressing is more important than fucking anything else when it comes to the salad.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
obviously,
I would agree.
the dressing onto the lettuce is important, right? Much as the
Mhm.
stabbing onto the Roman. Yeah. To say that
yeah.
this is an American made, this is ridiculous. Where's my tinfoil hat?
Adam, you know, if you ask a Chinese person in China what the fuck is A Fu Young, they'll fucking like, what the fuck you talking about, dude?
Mm-hmm.
And
if you ask for a really good example is if you're in, I think it's Dongbei Guobao Ro, right? That's the region. Let me quickly double check. I want to say it's Dongbei Guobao Ro. Or Guobao Ru, rather. Let me quickly double check that. Because it is Dongbei. Dongbei Guobao Ro. And it is an absolutely amazing sweet and sour pork. It looks nothing like sweet and sour pork.
Yep.
If you see Dongbei Guobao Ro, it looks nothing like what you would call sweet and sour pork. Because you know how sweet and sour pork has that kind of like neon orange sauce?
Yes. Yep.
And that is the defining feature of sweet and sour. Dongbei Guobao Ro does not have that neon orange sauce. It has this sticky, citrusy, pale yellow sauce. Here, let me pull up an image of it. It is absolutely amazing. I love this fucking dish.
Ooh.
This is Dongbei Guobao Ro.
That looks tasty.
It is
Very tasty.
amazing. And it has a citrusy, sticky, sweet, sour sauce on this pork that is dredged in potato starch and then fried insanely crisp. So even though it's just coated in this sauce, it is still going to crunch as you bite into it.
You guys want? Okay, y'all know I used to work at a Chinese restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know how to make sweet and sour sauce?
Go for it.
Sugar and tomato juice.
Yep.
Literally, all you gotta do
That's
is that's really it. You put
Nice.
sugar and tomato juice. You mix it to a proportional where it dissolves all the sugar, right? Then when you want to make it, you put the tomato juice and fucking sugar in a wok or pot. Use put potato starch and just thicken it. That's all that is. This is two thing.
And the color you get from just caramelizing it enough.
Yes.
because it's that caramel color plus that tomato color gives you that neon orange.
Yep. And you know, most time people use the canned ketchup. That works.
Because
So
tomato ketchup is effectively tomato sauce, tomato paste, and then sugar.
yep.
I would have said tomato paste, vinegar, and sugar.
It does have a bit of vinegar as well, but the sweet and sour sauce normally has a vinegar as well.
Yeah, you do put vinegar. If you use pure
It's
tomato,
right at the end, right?
yeah, no. If you use like the pure tomato juice, you do have to add vinegar to the sweet and sour sauce. That's the
So-
third ingredient.
So sweet and sour sauce is kind of akin to the special sauce of the Big Mac.
Yes. The three main ingredient, if you want to do it the proper
It's its
way.
other brother from another mother.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
no!
all this is vinegar, tomato juice or tomato sauce, whatever you want to call it, and sugar.
It's I love the sheer number of fusion dishes that are made in America and the number of dishes that when people find out that, oh yeah, this is an American dish, they're going, no fucking way. And then they look it up and they go, son of a bitch, Caesar salad isn't named for Julius Caesar. It's named for Caesar's, the fucking restaurant that it was made at.
Well, the fortune cookies was invented in America
Yep.
by a Japanese guy.
Yep. Wasn't it like the Lucky Fortune Company's the main fortune cookie producer to this day?
It still existing. Yep.
God damn, we truly are at the time of revelations, aren't we?
Yep. And you know, so you know, sriracha was also canned in the United States, right?
Oh, was
Well, I don't care about sriracha because I think sriracha tastes horrible.
It depends on what type of sriracha you get. Certain srirachas taste better than others.
Does it have a rooster on it?
Oh, you're talking Tock
The original.
brand? Yeah. Tock brand is the original, but there's a bunch of others that are still srirachas. And some of them I think taste a little bit better than Tock brand. That's controversial, I know, but I will stand by that controversy.
Well, the thing is, like, the funny thing is, sriracha's been in like Vietnam and for centuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why it's so special is because the guy who bottled it and fucking made a business out of it, he made it popular.
Mm-hmm.
But like every family, every Asian, like every Vietnamese and Chinese family had a recipe for a particular flavor of sriracha, basically.
Yep. It's kind of like how every Korean family had their own gochujang.
Yep. And you know, somebody just happened to fucking bottle and made it popular.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah, you have a bunch of different things like that. Like Lagan Ma is an extremely popular chili crisp, but there's an obscene number of other chili crisps because you can make your own fucking chili crisp. It's still a goddamn chili crisp. It's still as much a chili crisp as Lagan Ma, but most people, when they think chili crisp, they end up thinking Lagan Ma. But you have Japanese chili crisps, like S&B has their crunchy garlic chili crisp. That's really good. You have a shit ton of others. You have Umami, which is another chili crisp. You have Shunyu chili crisp, which is really good. That's a Taiwanese, if I remember correctly. You have Hispanic chili crisps, which are really fucking good as well. Like Chili Crunch, I think, is a Hispanic chili crisp. I also got one that's an ancho chili crisp that is fucking ridiculous. But there's a lot of things that people think of one thing as, no, this is chili crisp, when no, there's so many fucking forms of it.
Yep. No, it's like a lot of culture. We have a different path, but sometimes we do things like in parallel and common, right?
Mm-hmm.
And spicy food, for some reason,
Damn near universal.
yep, and it burns coming in and it burns going out.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the nature of the spice, but most burns going in.
Because fucking try to tell me that there isn't a similarity between a mole sauce and a Japanese curry, a sweet Japanese curry specifically.
Mm.
Yep.
Because there's sweet Japanese curries where one of the main ingredients is dark chocolate. So it's a slightly sweet to very sweet, depending on the sweet curry, chili paste with a chocolate backbone that is then thinned out with a broth. What is a mole again? It's a chili paste, chocolate backbone, thinned out with broth. They're the same thing from different cultures and different flavor profiles depending on what sort of chili paste they use.
Sanguine, you said dark chocolate. I think Sora had just got a boner. I don't know how it works, but I think she just got a boner.
Putting down a towel on the seat.
Oh no she can't stand up right now because that will stick out kind of bit.
Thanks, Cryptic.
Well,
What an
I'm just
image.
saying,
I not that easy. It takes a little bit more than just a dark chocolate sauce. Mix something in there.
dark
With
chocolate,
both of
little
those,
bit.
you throw in some meat, you throw in some
Yeah.
normally like mushroom and onions, you get that really nice. Then you put that over top of rice in both instances. Again, how are these things not the fucking same? It's just the culture and the type of spice that they use. Otherwise, these descriptions are fucking identical.
You'd insult a few people of older generations calling them the same.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. When you look at them, they are the same idea with different expression. Because it's the thing that differs between the two is the type of spice that's being used. And that's functionally it.
And that difference is enough to really irk people if you call them the same. Even a tiny little difference.
I don't give a fuck about those people. They are the same inspiration with different expression again. Because both people went, you know what this chocolate would go really good with? Fucking spice. And they just went, well, this group had ancho chili. This group had shishito.
Mm-hmm.
This group had this pepper. This one had that one. They had access to ginger there. They didn't have access to ginger here, but they had this other root that they ended up grating into it, and it tasted amazing. So they kept on fucking doing it. And when they mixed that all together, it was a little bit too thick. So what did they do? They added chicken stock over there. What did they do over here? They added chicken stock.
Yes, because chicken is universal.
Well, after it was spread everywhere, yes. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And it's something that people should realize. There's a lot of dishes that are descended from the same line of logic.
Mm-hmm.
And that isn't taking anything away from either dish. In fact, I'd say that's adding something to the dish. That this is something that was so desired from all over the fucking place that not only did it pop up in this specific culture, it popped up in 27 cultures at about the same fucking time.
Yeah. With or without trade.
Yeah, with or without cultural pollination.
Yeah.
Because does it take anything away from Italian pasta that there's Asian noodles? No, it doesn't.
Nope.
They're both the same fucking thing, though. They're noodles. But they have a different expression of the same idea. And they have a different way of preparing them, but they're the same genesis point of we want something to go in this sauce. We're going to make it out of a grain that we grind with some salt and some water and a bit of oil. Fuck it, this is amazing.
You know, y'all could just send nudes. We're good. I mean, wrong conversation. Sorry, never mind.
Well, send the tasty nudes.
What?
Yo, we're sending you nudes.
The hell you are?
Look, hot
Fine,
and
all the
spicy
nudes
nudes.
from me.
I know. I'll send Sora all the
I
hot
want-
and spicy nudes.
Send me your saucy nudes as well.
I will. Do you want the packet to be ruffled a little bit?
Oh yes, yes.
Yes.
Some
So nudes
sprinkling
and
of
nudes.
spice.
What volume number is that?
732.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
To
yeah.
make
Yes.
have to make a culinary subsection now.
You should.
You mean there wasn't one?
Not officially.
It was just the unofficial fan made.
Well, you know how you sprinkle things a little bit here, a little bit there. I think they should be gathered all in one place.
Fair enough.
Hmm.
If
And
you
I
guys want,
burnt the shit out of one of my fingers.
Ouch.
No.
Are you okay? How,
Yeah,
like
it,
bad?
it's blistering, but it's fine.
Go put it under some water.
I already did. I've been talking this entire time. I just
Oh,
didn't
okay.
make any noise about burning the shit out of my finger. Yeah, one of my oven mitts apparently has worn
Be
down
careful,
in one
please.
section of the thumb enough that when I grabbed cast iron out of the oven, a couple sections of my thumb touched straight on the cast iron.
Ugh,
Ow.
nice.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I have a couple burns, but they're very strange linear burns because, like I said, it's a section of the thumb of one of my oven mitts has worn loose. So it didn't get a consistent contact. It was just a stripe here, a stripe there, a stripe in the third.
it's okay, Sanguine. You just iron it out.
That would just level it a bit more and make it a bit more consistent.
I mean, you do have iron, so.
Well, I'm cooking with cast iron. I hope I have iron.
Hmm.
Oh, that's kind of a metal. situation. I'm trying to make shit puns right now, okay? Leave me be. Don't judge
Let me
me.
grab a different oven mitt this time.
It's too
for
late.
the
Too late.
mac and cheese. Because the mac and cheese also needs to come out. And I don't want to burn that hand again in different positions.
Yeah, please
So-
don't. None of us can take you to urgent care.
I don't
So-
need urgent care. It's just a bit of a burn, and that oven mitt needs to be thrown away because it is through the full thickness now.
Yes, Cryptic.
I was gonna say a joke about don't the kettle call black. Never mind.
The pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah, it's another one of my shit puns. Don't worry about it. Anyway,
Disappointed.
I know.
And I would like to point out that we got to this conversation when we were talking about the DNC shortlist.
Oh yeah. It went from fucking straight politics to Canadian politics to what the fuck are we doing with
Food
the
is fucking amazing.
food? Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it went from US to Canadian to talking about soft power to fucking food is amazing.
Hey, I'll agree to food is
And
fucking
now,
amazing.
is that? I would be very careful about fucking food
Depends.
because you
Is
could
it
get
one of your
all sorts of nasty
filmography?
things.
Is it one of your filmography or is it just a general statement? Because that will impact which sort of
That
fucking
is
food I
a
like.
general statement. That's a general statement because we,
No.
at Sora Luna Productions, we are very much aware of things that can cause these infections, and we don't want that.
Don't go fucking your bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's breeding
Edible
pigs, but
stuff are
that's the
fun,
wrong
but
type
not
of
in
bread.
the nether regions.
Sora, it's
Yes.
the yeast of your infection, your concerns.
Oh,
Your
boo.
worries.
I mean, boo. You know what? We need to rise up. We need to rise up against this.
That was pretty bad as well.
I know. Yeah. I kind of sliced it the wrong way.
Okay, you've redeemed yourself a little bit.
Where's bread burying when you need him?
I don't know. I don't know.
I loved that very much.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That hurt me to say.
It damn well should have.
Oh God.
You me up.
This is the
As
end of
to-
the
it's a-
week braid is not sharp, man.
No, it's not. It's too much bread puns.
Can we move on to breadwinners?
Yeah, for that one. You know what? The world's going to shit right now, right?
Oh yeah, and the media
Yeah.
is really fucking bad. Though I have heard some good things about certain bits of media, which I was surprised about hearing good things about.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Do you want to hear some apocalyptic prices?
Go ahead.
Oh, fucking go for it, because I have some more to
So-
add after
so-
you do yours.
I can't do the conversion because I can't do the math. I think it's 3 liters and a bit to a gallon. So keep that in mind for Americans.
It's
But
like
I
four.
just paid $70.54 for 29 liters of gas this afternoon.
So not 10 gallons.
That's about just over half my tank. That $70 used to fill and then some my tank.
So it was how many liters
Yay!
again?
29.
29. Yeah, it's about 7.5 gallons or so. So you're at like $10 or 10 Canadian dollars, which there's so many conversions in this fucking thing.
Mm.
First, it's
Well, she
It
did
is-
say do the math, so
Yeah, sorry, I can't do it for you because it's math. But so per
Well, let's
liter, it
see.
might be easier to say that way. I paid $235.9 per liter.
What the hell is going
$2.35.9 per
on
liter.
over there?
Oh, and that was cheap because the gas station closer to my home was $241.9. So I lucked out because I decided to stop closer to my work. And it was cheaper. Yeah,
so let's see.
I don't know
was
how it is the rest of the
79?
country, but
79 point what again?
it was $70.54.
70.54. Okay, that's $51. That's the first bit of conversion. Having to convert funny money into actual currency.
Screw you.
And then let me do the calculation after that so I can tell you guys the actual number, because it turns out that it is almost 8 gallons. So it is 51 divided by 7.82. It is about $6.50 a gallon.
Is that a lot for you guys?
Fuck yeah, my gas here, which is more expensive than it is in Wisconsin, is about $3.60 something.
Jesus.
yeah.
And I will say this is the cheap gas, so I don't because my car doesn't need to take mid or high range, so I just take standard fuel. Like I don't need to go for the higher grades. Thank God.
And
'Cause
Adam,
I think
what? You're
that's probably
probably
$3.
over. You're probably over $4 a gallon, right?
It actually kind of went down. So it's about like, I think the last I paid was a little under $4.
Okay, so like $3.90.
Yeah,
Okay, that's nice that it came
but that's
down.
a recent, very recent type of thing.
Oh yeah, I remember when I visited you guys for the Minion camping and saw the gas prices after that, and you were north of 40, or north of 4 rather, and that was at a time when I was about the same price that I am right now. So it was like my gas in Minnesota was 50 cents more expensive than Wisconsin, and your gas in Chicago was 50 cents more expensive than my gas was in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's kind of a joke out here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, you're back up over $2, Sora?
Yep.
142.
Fuck yourself.
How much is that in actual currency for an actual unit of measure?
Wow.
I just did the math for Sora's. I'm not doing the math for yours as well. And
All I'm
My
going to
dinner
say is that it's not fair. And this is another clear indication that Ontario sucks. And nobody remembers us on the West Coast. Also, I hope
I wish
everybody
no
who
one
campaigned
remembered
against the
our West
pipeline.
Coast.
I used to like your West Coast, and now it's a shit show for the last 5 years.
It should just be forgotten until people are going, what does this idea do? Oh yeah, the West Coast.
You're looking at about $3.90 a gallon.
Okay. So you're at Chicago prices.
That's with a carbon tax, though.
Yeah. So you're looking at Chicago prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
I'm
don't hate the
depressed
player,
now.
hate the game.
I can hate both. I have a large capacity to hate.
I have not yet begun to hate, motherfucker. Again, sorry, I
Oh,
keep on saying that wrong. Fatherfucker.
God.
I don't bring that into it, so why do you insist on doing so?
Because it's amusing. That's why. Fuck you.
No comment.
But yeah, my dinner is finally done, and it looks fucking beautiful.
Yay.
So, now that we've talked about a bunch of other things, is there any other topic that someone's dying to get off their chest? We again started with talking about the DNC short list and how shit it was. We went on to the Republican list, talking about how we thought that a fair chunk of it was just trying to stretch the Republican primary out to be comparable to the Democrat primary. And then we went to culture and soft power. And then we touched on food. And then Canadian gas prices and their made-up currency. Which, by the way, I fucking love the fact that you guys have funny money when I was visiting.
What are you talking about funny money? It's real currency.
It's funny money. When you find out that you got a 75% cut on the cost of your food versus what you thought it was, it's funny money. Oh, sorry, a 25% cut. It's like everything's on sale in Canada. You look at it and go,
for you.
oh, that's going to be expensive. And then, oh, yeah, I only have to pay 75% of this. That's nice.
Did you keep any of that funny money? Or
Oh, most of it we could just pay with our card throughout the entire time, so I don't think we actually got any hard cash while we were there.
damn, I mean, I'd at least keep some, like it's fun to have like a euro coin or a
Anytime
peso
that I
coin.
go someplace and I actually exchange currency, I always make sure that I keep some of it after. So I have Chinese yuan, I have Japanese yen, I have English pounds. But yeah, I just didn't have to exchange cash while I was there, so didn't keep any because I didn't exchange any. But yeah, does anyone have any topic that they want to touch upon tonight?
Nothing really that, I mean, mind you, it's all of local concern here. I can complain about something that happened yesterday, if you want
Go
to
for it.
fill time.
I'd say fucking go
So
for it.
we had people in the neighborhood trimming around power lines and stuff. So doing sort of the preemptive pruning for the fall and winter season, and they're using a different company, so they outsource to the different, like, what would you call them, horticultural companies, I guess.
Mhm.
Like the guys, arborists and all that sort of stuff. So here I am trying to get into my car. It's like 7:15 in the morning. All these trucks and stuff from this company parked up and down our street, and this has never happened before. This never needed to be done. I had someone approach us, and I hate, and I'm going to be that person. I hate when people come up to me in the driveway, like, get the fuck off. I just don't approach me first thing in the morning. And he was all like, "Oh, we're here on behalf of the BC Hydro, and we're doing this and that and the other, and you see, we have to, like, behind your home, we have to trim this, and it's very difficult to get our machines." And I just cut him off, saying know exactly where he was going, and I said, "No, you're not given permission to come onto my property or to go through my property, and we're not opening anything for you, because that's not necessary." And I kind of scared him off. And then his boss dared to come up to me, block my way to get out of my own driveway, and try to bully me into giving personal information to them. That pissed me off.
Okay.
And I was already getting late for work. Yeah, no, I told him to get off. And I said, no, you don't need to know anything. You don't need to know who's the homeowner. You don't need any personal information. You just need to know you're not allowed on this property. And he tried to say, oh, so I have to collect your information because I have to send it to the provincial, the BC, the power, or the BC Hydro people to say you're not cooperating with it. And I'm like, no, you don't need anything. You get off.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that is my big thing. We're planning now, because the local office here is closed, because today there was a sort of like a new stat holiday today here, and so everything's closed. But come Monday, we'll put in a complaint, because this is a new company that's doing stuff for them. And no, I'm sorry. This is my Karen. This is me being Karen, because it's like, you don't come on someone's property first thing in the morning, block them from allowing them to go to work. And I go to work in scrubs. I'm not a nurse or anything. I'm not at that capacity, but you don't know that. So get the fuck off my property. Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much. You don't try to pull your weight on somebody else's home. And I know assassin, that's when you pull the gun on them. You don't do that here. You can't do that here. And also, it's they're using a new company. I'm so sorry that you're so lazy that you can't drive your trucks a block away to go around the back alley and into the areas. Well, we need access to your property. No, you don't. None of the power lines, none of the anything that would need you to trim around is on property. Is on private property. It's all on the other side of the property line.
God damn it, donkey. No, it isn't donkey.
No, it's Cryptic. It's Cryptic.
Cryptic. Okay.
It's Adam.
It's Adam. I accused donkey and I was wrong for a change.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Do you know how
anyway,
rarely that would be a wrong guess?
Before, yes.
Very rare. This was a unique situation. Yeah, anyway, there you go. There's my rage of the week. That's I part of me was like, you know what? It's too bad we don't have that. But the problem is in places where you can pull a gun on someone for being on your property, they can pull a gun on you. Right? I mean, one maybe just more justified than the other, depending on the state you're in and the doctrine that's in place. But still, it's one of those things where you just wish like I don't even want anything to harm them. I wish I had like a rotten tomato to smush on his face. Or I wished he would step in dog poop or something just to make his day slightly more irritated. That's all. And then I did ask my mom to, hey, watch out, call the police if they decide to do anything or anything like that, right? And she watched from the window to see if they're going to approach the neighbors. So the neighbor's husband left for work, and he's an older guy, but he's rather big. He completely shaves his head, so he has a very shiny dome, and he's quite wide on his back, but he's nothing like scary looking or anything, but he's just a bigger guy, right?
Just slightly imposing.
They approached him. Yeah, they approached and he did a U-turn. Like they approached as if to walk towards him, saw him as getting into his car and decided not to approach. So the fuckers thought me an easy target, That's what pissed me off the most. Like, go fuck yourself. I might not be able to physically take you, but I got the law on my side. Also,
I might not be able to take you in a fight, but can I speak to your fucking manager?
Yeah. Not even that. No, fuck the manager. We don't even bother with those. We go straight to local council because they're the ones who allowed them. It's like, fuck the supervisor. I'm going all the way to the top. Yeah,
so
yeah.
That was my massive beehive, and you're demanding to speak to the CEO.
Yeah. That was my fun. I see. Sometimes I can understand why there's so many Karens. Like there is a thrill of the indignation, but like when you're justified, though, most of the time nobody's justified. I think I was justified to be irritated that someone's, kind of approaching you first thing in the morning in your home. Yeah. So moral of the story. Oh, and this is the whole, and to end off all of this, the one of the things that was really pissed me off about all this, they're trying to sell it like, oh, you have to because we work for the, we're doing this for the provincial company or whatever. Well, first of all, there's no way for me to know for sure that you're not lying, because we have not received any sort of notification or phone call, because that's what they usually do. We've always had notification if work is being done in the neighborhood on behalf of, right? So that was nothing of the sort was received. So as far as I know, either if they've forgotten, then that's too bad, but you're lying. So no.
I'm trying to remember the story that came out, I want to say just last week, where it was an ATF agent doing a very similar thing to a man in the U.S. to what you just described. And was indirectly threatening the person the entire time that he was doing it. I can't remember the exact story. I remember seeing the clip of it. And the dude just starts saying, I don't have a dog for you guys to shoot. Just fuck off.
Jesus.
Dude just went off on him.
I mean, isn't that the standard response to an ATF agent? I do not have a dog. Leave me alone, and for further interactions, please talk to my attorney. That's how I see interactions with the ATF.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the full story or see if I can quickly find it, because it was just a god damn, dude. Because the ATF agent is immediately like, oh, when has the ATF ever done anything wrong? Waco? Ruby Ridge? shooting everyone's fucking dogs. Need I go on? And the ATF agent's like, oh, seems like you have gone into the conspiracy end of the internet. Fuck off, dude.
Oh, like primetime news, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
For some of these?
Yeah, it was just hilarious. The dude going off on the ATF agent.
Oh,
yeah,
Assassin
it was-
is saying in the chat there.
Yep, that's exactly what it was, Assassin. It was when they showed up wanting to confiscate the solvent trap from the guy.
What is that?
A solvent trap is used to help clean a firearm. If I'm mistaken, Assassin, please do chime in. It's used to help clean a firearm. So solvent dissolves a lot of crap. That's what a solvent means. It's something that dissolves something else. So
Yeah.
what you do is you thread a solvent trap onto the end of a firearm
Mm.
as you pour solvent through, which dissolves unburnt powder, random other bits of schmutz and shit in the barrel, as well as in the mechanism of the firearm. And then it runs out into the solvent trap, and it gets trapped by the solvent. I'm going to guess here. And I guessed correctly. Oh, no. It's Cryptic. God damn it, Cryptic. I've wrongly accused Donkey twice now. What the fuck is
Leave me
happening?
alone.
I think he needs to pay you reparations, Donkey.
No. Besides, his reparations would be pure spite.
So, the solvent trap catches all the solvent that has gone through and allows you to deal with it and dispose of it properly rather than just having it run out onto your fucking floorboards and it's all this gritty schmutz from the fucking gun. But you can also take a solvent trap and drill a hole and create a silencer. Because a solvent trap normally has one end completely enclosed, the other end open. So if you drill a hole in the right spot, then you can make a unregulated silencer. But it has that legit use of just fucking cleaning your firearm. So, dude had purchased a solvent trap. ATF agent came up, effectively accused him of making silencers. And the dude went, no, I'm just cleaning my goddamn guns. What the fuck's wrong with you? And the ATF agent kept on giving veiled threats, and the dude just went off on him. And again, was like, the best part was, what has the ATF ever done? Fucking Ruby Ridge? Goddamn Waco? Shoot people's dogs? And it's just, what the fuck?
I like that. Oh, do you have a moment? Let me go print you a list from Wikipedia alone.
Yep.
Oh, God.
The thing is that it's become a revenue stream, and it should have never been a revenue stream.
Which?
The ATF became a revenue stream for the federal government. They go after
that's
people
not,
for...
That is not dangerous and corruptible.
Because the thing is that the ATF goes after people who may have not paid the proper excise tax to own certain bits of firearm equipment or firearms. So the whole thing that kicked off Waco was they thought that the Branch Davidians were making unregistered, fully automatic firearms and not paying the excise tax on fully automatic firearms. So they went after them for a breach of tax code, effectively. And the result of that was they burnt down the entire complex, killing men, women, and children.
Jesus.
And that's where a lot of what they do is now. They just go after people that may have not paid the proper tax thing for owning this firearm or that firearm or this bit of firearm equipment or that bit of firearm equipment. And that is absolute bullshit. It should have never become that. Now, there's a debate whether it should have ever become a thing, but at the very least, it should have never become a revenue service.
So dangerous.
And yeah, the fact that they're just allowed to make unilateral decisions that should be made by legislature is fucked.
Well, fortunately, there is both congressional and judicial things in the works that will basically castrate the ATF.
Oh yeah, there's
there's a congressional repeal in the early stages and a judicial overturning that's on its way up.
Did you hear about
one or the other is going to happen for the NFA?
Did you hear about the other really big thing that is working?
Oh?
Let me quickly double check that I'm referencing the right section, but I'm almost positive that I am. Yep, it is a potential Article 5 convention is coming up for the first time in the history of the country. Do you remember what the Article 5 convention is, Donkey?
We're talking about Convention of States stuff, amend the Constitution directly.
Yep.
The federal government can't say shit about it.
Yep. So, for those who don't know, there's two ways that you can amend the Constitution. There's a vote by Congress, which has to pass a 75% majority. There's also a secondary route, which is forced by the states and fuck the Congress, where it's 75% of the states vote and pass a bit at the state level saying that they demand that the federal government look into something or amend the Constitution in this way or that. And if 75% of the states do this, then it is automatically put through fuck the Congress.
Because that is the ratification process done.
Yep. And Congress has the ability to act before the 75%. But once the 75% hits, Congress is just rubber stamping it. They can't do anything else. They can't deny it. They just rubber stamp it.
And the presidential veto can't do a shit on it either.
Yep. It is just passed right then and there. There's nothing that any other branch of government can do.
And I'm almost certain that if any other branch tried, Supreme Court says no.
Yep. So they're nearing an Article 5 convention.
Which will do what? Repeal the NFA and everything associated?
The full list of what the Article 5 convention, because I read this a while ago. And it was absolutely fascinating because it was gutting a fuck ton. Like, it was gutting the ATF entirely. It was gutting the EPA. Gutting the CDC.
After the last couple of years saw that coming.
Yeah, what it was doing is it was limiting the CDC to its original intent, which was to advise. And it was making it so that it could not act outside of that advising role. So it can look into things, it can advise, but it can't dictate what states may or may not do. And then it was, like I said, gutting the ATF entirely effectively. Just ripping that shit out by the root. It was gutting the EPA, making it again an advisement role, not a governing role. It was also forcing the firing of Fauci, which I found fucking hilarious. But it was forcing the firing of Fauci through a slightly indirect means, because if it was specifically saying, Fauci, fuck this guy, he isn't allowed, that wouldn't be allowed. That would have been overturned by the
judiciary,
because that's a too specific and discriminative measure.
So they decided to basically say the office doesn't exist.
Oh no, it wasn't that the office doesn't exist. It was they were putting a cap on consecutive years someone can serve in the bureaucracy.
And was it a fuck you Fauci number, or was it a fuck you a lot of people number?
It was specifically fuck you Fauci, but it also fucked a bunch of other people that deserve fucking.
I ain't got no problem with them deciding to go that way.
Yep, and I think it's something like they need... Let me quickly double check the number. I think it's 30-something states. I want to say it's 33 states to put forward this measure. So far, 22 states have already signed on and done it.
Yeah, but getting that other 11 might be difficult.
Oh, it might be, but if I remember correctly, it was that there were already 22 states that agreed, and then there were a further, 12 that were in the process.
That's 34.
Yep, and I just double-checked the number, and they need 37 to 38. So they're just missing 4. If the 12 that have signed on to put forward the vote do all put forward the vote, they just need to pick up 4.
That doesn't sound too hard to get.
Yeah, it is hilarious that there's a massive move in a bunch of states. That the article that I read about it was freaking the fuck out that the states are doing this. And it was the most hilarious thing because they claimed that it was anti-democratic.
Bitch, it's the states acting in their constitutionally granted manner.
Yeah, they were saying it was anti-democratic and anti-constitutional for the states to do exactly what it says the states can do by democratic means. They were trying to claim that it was anti-democratic and anti-constitutional. It was fucking hilarious. Also, the other thing that really tickled me about it was they were talking about how it had never been done, and because it had never been done, that's what made it bad. And I'm going, no,
that's what's made that the system up until this point has not required this mechanism.
It has worked up until this point. The closest that they came was the overturn of prohibition. The Congress bitched out on. Because do you know what happened with the overturn of prohibition?
It was one of the campaign promises the greatest dictator in American history won on.
So with the anti-prohibition vote. They voted in Congress.
Did I just give the short version?
Somewhat, but not quite the point that I was trying to cover. So, the Congress had a vote. They had the votes to repeal it. Congress didn't want to repeal it because it would lose some of them their elections. So rather than voting to repeal it, they voted to force the states to vote on it. So it was almost a Article 5 convention, but it was done in a back-asswards way, so it doesn't count.
The result was still the same.
The states voted, they overturned the prohibition, but it was because Congress voted to force the states to vote. It doesn't count as an Article 5 convention.
Right, and if the Supreme Court, which did quickly collect their balls at the time, pretty quickly after that dictator, by any other name, got in power.
If it weren't for the competition that he had at the time.
Well, I was more referring to the fact that the Supreme Court should have stepped in and said, no, Congress, this is your job. You can't force the states to hold votes.
Oh, yeah. They should have done that. They didn't, but it turned out the good way, at least. But yeah, it was...
Because
Congress...
I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court knew it was going to happen either way. Might as well not rock the boat.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Congress absolutely bitched out. And it is to their shame that they bitched out that way.
Bitched out and then got him as a president.
If not for the ridiculous competition for dictator at that time, FDR would have been acknowledged for what he was. But when you aren't...
When you're sitting beside Stalin, Franco, Mussolini, and freaking Hitler.
Yeah. And Mao.
Mao, Hirohito.
Mao hadn't taken power yet, but Mao was kicking about and was a known entity at the time.
Hell, even Chiang Kai-shek was a little bit worse.
Chiang Kai-shek, I would say, he was a dictator in the Roman sense. Rather than a dictator in the modern sense, which... Sorry, do you know what a Roman dictator was?
Someone more appointed to have unlimited power for a very specific and very limited amount of time.
Mm-hmm. So a Roman dictator would be declared during a time of war. And
weren't there a couple of peacetime dictators in Rome's history, though?
During rebellions.
Mm-hmm.
Which they're close enough to war.
Well, I'm talking stuff like economic or some other great crisis that requires centralized authority that can act quicker than the Senate.
Oh, that I don't think that there were. I could be wrong, but I don't think there were any Republican Roman dictators for anything other than rebellion or war.
And rebellion, yeah. Typically, the Senate didn't like giving up power like that.
Mm-hmm. The last dictator that they named, they fucking stabbed.
Well, that's because he decided and was in the process of consolidating that power around himself permanently.
That's questionable, actually, when you look at the histories.
His other two triumvirs were dead. He had a cult of personality around him. Even if he gave up the powers personally, he had stacked the Senate so much that he could keep his powers even if he wasn't a consul. He'd have a puppet as console or both consoles every year. He held a lifetime position, which was rather prestigious. And like I
Potentially,
said,
but at the same time, there were things that would indicate that he would have been the sort to go, okay, yeah, I did what I needed to do. And he might have at some point become a senator or taken another position of power.
oh, he was on in the Senate for life at that point. He was a proconsul.
But I'm saying that he would have taken additional honors at some point. But it is not 100% that he would have absolutely declared himself Emperor of Rome. And there's reasons to think that he might not have.
Yeah, but unfortunately, due to the plotting of Cato and his buddies, we never found out.
Yep. Also, that fucking stabbing. God damn, have you ever read the records of that stabbing?
The fact
No.
that it was a thoroughly, nearly botched affair.
And the fact that apparently Julius goddamn Caesar was a fucking stud in a fight to an absolute ridiculous degree. He gets stabbed, effectively mortally wounded in the first stab. And he clamps down on his own wound and throws the fucking assassin.
Yeah, ragdolls Cato and his cohorts a little bit before finally succumbing.
Yeah, he just starts throwing motherfuckers around the room.
Well, he's been campaigning the last 30 years. What did you expect?
Oh, yeah, but there's...
And he was definitely an old-fashioned legionary general.
Oh, yeah,
He didn't...
especially... You read the accounts of the encircling of Vercingetorix, right?
I know the Gallic campaign well.
So, the end of the Gallic campaign, for those who don't know, was Vercingetorix had taken this fortified hill fort. It was one of the largest Gallic fortifications. With all the troops that he had at his disposal at the time, he had reinforcements coming. He was being chased by the Roman legion, led by Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar ordered the encircling of this fort, then clear-cut several forests around, ordered the construction of a ring wall around this hill fort. Vercingetorix tried to sally forth out of the hill fort several times to break the ring fort, or the ring wall being made around it. He was knocked back every time. Julius Caesar heard that more Gallic reinforcements were on their way. He then ordered the construction of a second fucking ring wall around his first ring wall, pointing in the opposite goddamn direction. So, it was a hill fort surrounded by a ring wall, surrounded by a ring wall facing the other direction.
That's how Caesar fought.
The double encirclement. Then the Gauls showed up, they attacked from the outside as the inside tried to sally forth again, sandwiching the Romans between the two forces in their double ring wall. Every time the Romans were about to buckle in a location, according to the record, fucking Julius Caesar appeared out of goddamn nowhere, just started wrecking house in the fight. Then would vanish the moment that everything quieted down again, for him to appear someplace else in the thick of the fight and just absolutely flip the battle on its head.
Him and his veteran third.
And he did that time and time again. Yeah, the only time that he didn't show up when things were getting a bit dicey, they weren't anywhere near as dicey as where he did show up. And it was because Mark Antony showed up where he couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just him sending his second and third to various locations. And then when he heard about one that was really fucked, he would just steamroll in, kick ass, and then immediately pull back, get more reports to steamroll someplace else.
Mm-hmm. And though the engineering prowess of Caesar's military forces is really well shown in the Gallic campaign, I feel that his time in Illyria against Pompey is the best example of that. They built basically entire towns against one another.
I would agree and disagree because there were several times that his defenses were breached by Pompeian forces.
Oh, yeah. Pompey was certainly his match.
Mm-hmm. And this is talking about the Roman Civil War, where it was the Caesarian forces versus the Pompeian forces.
Fortunately, however, he beat Pompey in Illyrica, and then I don't know if they were Caesarian aligned or Ptolemaic Egypt aligned.
Oh, it was Ptolemaic Egyptians that assassinated Pompey
in the end, but I want to think that Caesar had a hand in it.
There's people that believe that he did, but the records of the time make him sound extremely mournful and disgusted.
Well, of course, this guy, Caesar and Pompey, despite their disagreements over politics, were good friends in the Senate.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was... If you're at all interested in the Roman Civil War, there's a channel that does a fantastic job, and unfortunately,
the Heroes and Generals
yes,
Caesar Civil
that's
War
what I was
series
just about to recommend.
Is the ultimate expression of this time period.
I was just about to recommend that, and it's a pity that Adam zonked out because Adam is a massive fan of the Heroes and Generals as well.
Mm-hmm. I like the fact that they've continued that series into the Civil Wars of the Second Triumvirate.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a whole other mess.
Yeah, how thoroughly they went into everything was insanely impressive. And they also touch back on that Civil War when they're talking about Augustus.
Well, he had a few Pompeian holdouts to still deal with.
Well, not just that, but one of the major things that ended up getting him named as Caesar's successor was, for those who don't know, Caesar Augustus, when he was young, was extremely sickly.
Mm.
And during the Civil War, he was originally supposed to be following with Caesar. He ended up having a spell of his normal weakness, is the way that it's normally referred to. He had some sort of congenital disorder, probably. One of the issues that he had was porphyria. But he was supposed to follow along with Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
He had a spell of his normal illness. And when he had a spell of his normal weakness, he was not able to follow along with Caesar. But he then, before he knew the outcome of the war, and when it was rather likely that he would be riding into Pompeian forces rather than Caesarian forces, rode to rejoin the war. He showed up shortly after the Pompeian forces were routed. But again, he would have had absolutely no clue about this, and it might have been the Caesarian forces that were routed. And due to that, Caesar immediately returned with him and started giving him all sorts of honors.
Now, there's a big question. What Pompeian route do you mean? Hispaniola, Africanus, or Illyrica?
I think it was the Illyrican, wasn't it?
That would have been the final one. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was also the Illyrican campaign was the one that was most likely to have turned the other way.
Oh, yeah, because unlike Africa and Hispaniola, Pompey himself was leading the Pompeian faction.
Yep. And like I said, he showed up late but still rode to war when it was rather likely he was riding into enemy forces. And Caesar was so impressed by his sickly nephew still showing up because he said that he was going to join campaign. He was not able to join at the start, but he would be absolutely damned if he wasn't going to join the moment that he was at all capable. That when he was returning from the campaign, he had Caesar Augustus ride in his carriage with him the entire time, rather than having Marcus Antony.
Which would have caused more divisions in the first triumvirate.
Well, originally, he was planning on having Mark Antony ride with him, because Mark Antony was still his commander of horse, and was still his favorite. Up until this point when Caesar Augustus became his favorite. And I just realized what time it is.
What time is it, Mr. Wolf?
Uh-oh.
Oh, hello, Adam. You missed
Good
us.
morning.
We were talking about the Pompeian and Caesarian Civil War. And we mentioned the fantastic videos on it by Gods in General. Oh, sorry, Heroes and Generals. But I just realized it is about 1:45.
Time sure flies when we're talking about probably one of the greatest military campaigns of ancient history.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, Adam, we were just talking about the Heroes and Generals video series on the Pompeian Caesarian Civil War of Rome.
Oh, yeah,
that's a fan of.
I call it the Civil War of the First Triumvirate or the First Roman Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Because technically, the Civil Wars, plural, of the Second Triumvirate were just as bloody.
Oh, yeah, but I would say that they didn't have the same quality of generals.
They didn't have the Titanic level generals that was Caesar and Pompey.
Yeah, the only Roman general that I'd put anywhere near Caesar and Pompey would be the first time that Rome exiled their dictator. Do you know which general I'm referring to? Either you or Adam might know.
Unfortunately, this sounds like early Empire stuff, and I don't know much past the Second Triumvirate
of the
early Empire.
Still Republican Rome. They exiled a dictator after he won.
Scipio Africanus?
Exactly. Scipio Africanus. They were afraid that he was going to name himself emperor. And Scipio Africanus clearly had absolutely no interest. So when he got exiled, he went, well, that sucks, but can I at least be exiled to my home in this one area of the Empire? Sure. Okay, I'm going there. Bye. And he just fucked off and enjoyed the rest of his life.
A man of culture.
Oh, yeah. And it was his home that Seneca ended up going to visit during Seneca's exile. Shortly before Seneca's not assassination, but ordered suicide.
Now,
And go ahead.
a lot of honors are given to Scipio, and perhaps the idea of attacking a position that Hannibal had to defend was a thing of tactical genius then, but nowadays it's just considered a standard tactic. Find a place that your opponent has to defend, and their aggressive actions can be done.
Yeah, but that's like looking at anything after a massive landmark. It's like saying, oh yeah, people credit Liston with doing one of the first major surgeries under anesthetic. But nowadays, everyone does it, surgeries under anesthetic. Yeah, it's because Liston did the surgery under anesthesia that everyone does a surgery under anesthesia now.
Yeah. Finding out the one way that he could beat the greatest enemy Rome had ever seen up to that point.
Mm-hmm. So saying, well, yeah, it's no, just everyone does that. Well, yeah, of course. That's because what he did was such absolute genius and was not bound to that time, because you have certain generals that their tactics are severely bound to a specific time period, which is one of the problems that I have. Don't get me wrong. The Art of War is an extremely important document, but there are some tactics within the Art of War that are very much bound to the time period.
That if tried in an orthodox manner in the world of gunpowder would not work.
Exactly. Which is why, if we're talking about works like that, I would much rather have people read Go Ringo No Show versus The Art of War. Because while The Art of War has elements that can be applied today, and it was brilliant at the time, there's too many elements of it that would not work now. So, Go Ringo No Show, which talks about the mental state of a tactician rather than just the tactics themselves, I think is a much more future-proofed work than The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
But it is past time. Shall we go around the horn?
Okay.
Down with the current governments in Canada, the US, and the UK now.
Donkey going straight for the revolutionary sentiment. What about you, Sora?
I don't know. Enjoy
No
your
parting
life.
words tonight? Okay, enjoy your life.
No,
Alright.
wait. Something a little bit more specific. Enjoy your life. If you like to drink white girl holiday drinks, don't be ashamed. Embrace it.
Get white girl wasted.
Woo!
Nice.
Oh my God, Becky, we're gonna be drinking tequila.
Get your tits out. Have a good time. So, on the off chance, Cryptic, Adam, either of you awake? If so, unmute and give your parting words. I'll give you a moment to do so.
I mean, you can unmute them yourself and we could just hear their words.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean,
that I do to you. I don't do that to them.
You know, parting words, okay? Don't get an STD this weekend. Stay safe.
That is
good.
sound
Yes,
advice.
and I just want to pop in again and say, Assassin, I just want to let you know I am currently drinking a grande pumpkin cream cold brew from Starbucks, so I will not be shamed or silenced.
How exactly do you make a pumpkin jizz into a cup?
Cream. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You stroke the stem. How else would you do it?
I love the fact that I killed 2 people doing that.
I don't know how, but it's magic, and I'm sucking it all down.
Oh, Dord, you said sucking it all down. Oh, you just made it
Yep.
worse.
But since Adam is still zonked out from the sound of it, I will just leave off with my standard of if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Oh, Adam unmuted. I'll let Adam give his before I give mine.
Yeah, I was just I was kind of weirded out by that story of that she
Of
just said.
pumpkin jizzing in a cup.
Yeah, that was weird. But
I love that that's
Listen,
what you woke up
Sanguine
to.
said it. I didn't.
well, you know,
I love
it
that
was
you
the-
woke up to that, and I love the fact that Sora got blamed for it.
Well, I was eating a ice cream sandwich, so I kind of put it back on the plate. I couldn't finish it. No, but hey, thanks for letting me hang out and chat with you guys. You know my bit. Love y'all and God bless for closing it off, eh?
Copy that. And I'll leave off with my standard of if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Night.
Right.
Night, one and all.
Cryptic, this is when you say goodbye after you come off mute.
Pumpkin fluff.
Make it awkward.
Shit. Oh, shit.
Oh shit will be considered sufficient today. I'm clicking it now.
And before we finish,
Uh-oh.
Assassin of the Grey, that quote was indeed a final parting thought. So from Tuco the Ugly, when you have to shoot, shoot, don't talk.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.